I welcome you all this online video tutorial. Today my topic is stable nuclei in nuclear physics. This is my second lecture in the nuclear physics. So we discussed about the nucleus and how the radius of the nucleus is determined. It is almost nearly spherical. So R equal to R0 e to the power 1 by 3, where E is the nucleus and R is the average radius and R0 is a constant. Now this was the idea was given by the Weizsäcker in 1935, and he recognized the experimental evidence which suggests that in some ways nucleus resembles like the drop of a liquid. But in 1939, Bohr and Wheeler, in 1939, they used this idea of the Weizsäcker that he considered the nucleus like a liquid drop, and he had given the theory of the nuclear fission. So this nucleus, it consists of the protons and the neutrons. So we have the atom, and in atom there is a nucleus at the center. So in the center there is a proton and neutron, and our electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So the nucleus consists of the protons and neutrons, and the radius of the nucleus is almost 10 to the power minus 15 meter. That is obtained from the Rutherford experiment. And the two particles which is being present, neutron, it is neutral, no charge, proton is positively charged, so therefore the nucleus is positively charged. So the mass of the proton and mass of the proton, it is 1.0078 u, a unified mass, and mass of the neutron, that is 1.0086 or 87 u. So therefore the neutron is always heavier than the proton, but the neutron having neutral charge, so proton having the positively charged, means as it is positively charged, so therefore the Coulomb repulsive force also plays the dominant role in the stability of the nucleus. So that we will gradually discuss. So we concentrate on the size of the nucleus. We concentrate about the two particles which is present inside the nucleus, that is proton and neutron, and their masses are like this. So this nuclei, we plot a graph of the this is known the Segre plot, and which says about the stability of the nuclei. Means we talk about the number of protons and a number of neutrons. If we take this number of protons along the x-axis and number of neutrons along the y-axis, and if we plot a graph, we get a straight line. The stable nuclei, we get the straight line where z equal to n. If the number of protons and number of neutrons in the nucleus are equal, then we get the straight line. If the number of neutrons are more than the number of protons, then the nucleus is unstable. So for the light nuclei, that is where E is less than 20, mass number is less than 20, then we find Z equal to N. If we plot 10, 20, 30, 40 like this, here also 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 like this, number of protons and number of neutrons. So what is being observed for the light nuclei which is being considered, whose mass number is less than 20, then almost we find that they are Z equal to N up to this zone from this. But when the heavier nuclei, for the heavier nuclei, what do you get? When N is greater than Z, always N is greater than the Z, and this is the graph where N is greater than the Z, means number of neutrons is greater than the number of the protons. So the tendency for N equal to Z, from the this N equal to Z, this idea we get from the nuclear energy levels. nuclear energy levels. So the nuclear levels, it gives the idea how the number of protons becomes is equal to number of neutrons. So this the nucleons which have the spin half, nucleons which have spin half, this is the spin half, spin equal to half. Nucleons which have a spin half, they obey the Pauli exclusion principle. Pauli exclusion principle. So as a result, the each nuclear energy levels, like in this case you see there are 3 energy levels. And if you talk about the stability of the nucleus, like if you take the isotope of the boron, and boron has a 3 isotopes, boron 510, 511 and 512. So in this case you see boron 510, number of proton is 5, number of neutron is 5, number of proton is 5, number of neutron is 6, number of proton is 5, number of neutron is 7. And here C612, number of proton is 6, number of neutron is 6. So here you see when it is 5, number of proton is 5 and neutron is 5. So these 5 protons are here, 5 neutrons are here. And how the spins are arranged for the 5 protons? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, spin down, spin up. For this spin up, spin down. And here it is spin down. So similarly for 5 neutrons, for 4 neutrons, 2 neutrons spin down, 2 neutrons spin up. So 1 neutron spin up, here 1 proton spin down. So it is a stable nucleus. So it is stable. It is stable nucleus. Because the each energy level, each nucleus to achieve, nucleus want to achieve minimum energy. Nucleus want to achieve minimum energy for getting maximum stability. The idea is to get the energy levels in the nucleus are filled up, and when the energy levels in the nucleus are filled up, which correlated with the neutrons and the number of neutrons and the number of protons. So how in this case, when the energy levels are filled up, so that nuclei always wants to attain the configuration of the minimum energy and maximum stability. So every nuclei wants to attain minimum energy, every nuclei wants to get the configuration of the minimum energy and maximum stability. So in order to get the minimum energy and maximum stability, the energy level should be filled up. And how the energy levels are filled up with their spins, it is being shown in this case. But do you see, this is stable, this is also stable configuration, but this is unstable. When there are the 5 protons, but then there is 7 neutrons, so 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 6 and 1 is here, it is outside of the energy range, so that becomes unstable. So this unstable, again it becomes stable by adding 1, this is 3, this is 3 and 3, 3 and 3, 6, 6 neutron. So how you see, now it is 3 and 2, that is 5 protons. Now it has come to the 6 proton and 6 neutron. In this case it has become 6. So it takes one proton is being added, so that the unstable nucleus became the stable by this spin, by considering the spin of the proton. So this is how this is the stable nuclei have the configuration of the minimum energy. That is the exclusion principle that limits the 2 neutrons of the opposite spin and the 2 protons of the opposite spin. So This is the simplified energy level diagram of the boron isotope and the carbon isotope. So when we get the unstable nucleus, but this unstable converted into this stable by emitting the by the with the process of the beta decay. So B512, it is unstable from the figure, because it has the 5 protons and the 7 neutrons, so it becomes unstable. So B5 it has the more energy than the C612 isotope. So what happens? Because one of its neutron has the higher energy, so what it changes to C612 by the beta decay. So that I will discuss what is beta decay. So unstable nucleus changes to the stable nucleus by the three processes that we will discuss, how unstable nucleus changes to the stable nucleus. So if we plot this graph again, because our aim is to study the stability of the nucleus. So if we plot the graph of the this is your Z and this is N. So this is our graph like this. So there are the three things which take place. One is the there is a nucleus changes from that is, if we talk about the Z, which is greater than 83, and E greater than 209, that is the bismuth. In case of the bismuth, 83 209, this is the unstable nucleus, and this unstable heaviest this is 83 209, this is heaviest stable nuclei. But the nuclei whose proton number of protons is greater than 83, mass number greater than 209, then that becomes the unstable. So it spontaneously transforms to the lighter one. So how it transforms to the lighter one? So first we consider that A, this is our Z and X. The nucleus whose mass number is this is our mass number, this is your number of the protons. So that changes to that, this is the parent nucleus, this is our parent nucleus. Then it changes to daughter nucleus, that is Y, and let us take it is X minus 4 and Z minus 2 plus helium 2 4. So this is our daughter nucleus, and it produces the helium atoms, helium particle, so alpha particle. So if the daughter nucleus has two either too small or too large, then N by Z ratio, if the N by Z ratio is not equal to 1, then again it will change to the another stable nuclei. So always we have to check whether N by Z ratio is 1 or not. If it is not 1, if it is 1, then it is stable, then it will not change to any other nuclei. But if it is not 1, N by Z ratio is not 1, then it will change, it will keep on changing. So in this case, what we find that if it is a alpha decay, this is the stability curve, and if it is alpha decay, then what happens? Z decreases by 2 and X decreases by 4, means N decreases by 2. This is N decreases by 2, means number of neutrons decreases by 2 and number of protons decreases by 2. So this is your helium alpha decay. So N decreases by 2, minus 2, and here Z decreases by minus 2 in similarly if we do not get N by Z is not equal to 1, again the daughter nucleus it will keep on changing to the other nucleus. So that is known as the to get the more stable configuration. So that is known the beta decay. Beta decay. And in beta decay what happens? The neutron changes to proton, neutron zero charge, proton positively charged, and along with it will emit the electron. So that is the negative beta decay. Negative beta decay. So when it is negative beta decay, then what happens? In negative beta decay, so Z increases by 1, and N decreases by 1, like this. This is negative beta decay. And there is a positive beta decay also. That is, in that case, the proton changes to neutron, and along with there is emission of the positron. So this is your positive beta decay. Positive beta decay. So how you can represent in this stability curve? This is a positive beta decay means N increases by 1, so it is plus 1, and Z decreases by minus 1, so it is minus 1. So this is the curve. So this is our positive beta decay. Positive beta decay. So this happens, positive beta decay. So this alpha decay, alpha and beta decay, this is alpha decay and positive beta decay, negative beta decay. This took place inside the nucleus only to get the stable nucleus. So these three things continuously keep on changing only to get the stable nucleus, only to get the ratio N by Z should be equal to 1. So this happens if the neutron, here we can consider that proton is lighter than neutron, but how could it emit the neutron? The proton, whose mass is less than the mass of the neutron, but how it could emit the neutron? So there is another theory which is another particle which is being emitted, that is the neutrino and antineutrino, that we will discuss later on, so that the conservation of the charge and spin it is being obeyed. But here we are only talking about the negative beta decay and the positive beta decay. But this all happens inside the nucleus. The electron, positron, which is being produced, that is being produced inside the nucleus. So the stable nucleus, what it says that 60% of the stable nuclei, 60% of the 60% of stable nuclei have even Z and even N. Means number of protons and number of neutrons is even, and or this is even nuclear. Now all other have, this is number 1. Number 2, all others have even odd or odd even combination. It's even Z odd N, or the odd Z even Z, like this. But we have the another possibility is 5 stable odd nucleate. And what are those? That is 1H2 deuterium, then lithium 36. This is then we have the beryllium 510, then we have the nitrogen 714, then we have the tantalum, the 73, and 180. These are the 5 nucleates. They have the stable odd nuclei, and there is nuclear forces. nuclear forces are limited in range. Nuclear forces limited in range, and they interact always strongly with their nearest neighbors. So as a result, they interact strongly with neighbors, strongly with neighbors, and that is known as the saturation of nuclear forces. Saturation of nuclear forces. Nuclear forces. Then there is a Coulomb repulsion inside the nucleus because proton is positively charged. So inside the nucleus, we always consider the Coulomb repulsion. Coulomb repulsion. It is of the appreciable range, and there is also limit to the ability of the nucleus to prevent this disruption of the large nucleus. Then we come to this alpha decay, beta decay, and gamma decay. How to obtain the stable nuclei by considering these three types of the decay: alpha decay, beta decay, and positive beta decay, and negative beta decay. So this will go on doing till we get the ratio of n and z becomes the equal. So that is the application of this curve Segre plot, which tells about the idea about the n and z, number of protons and number of neutrons. If it becomes equal, that gives the stable nuclei. In the next lecture, we will be talking about the relation of binding energy per nucleon with the mass number of the nuclei. Thank you.